the issue, although it's ethically, it's very clear. We have a group of terrorists who attacked civilian people in their homes on a holiday. They attacked people in their pajamas, they raped women, they killed children, they arrested toddlers even and kidnapped them and arrested them for over a month and tortured them, and like it's a clear case. It does not even need to argue about. It's a clear case of terrorism. And there is a state responsible about these civilians, and which is the Israel state. It reacted like any other state in the world would react when it is faced by a terrorist or when it is attacked by a terrorist organization like Hamas. But actually, Hamas twisted the whole rhetoric and made it appear like the Israeli government woke up one day and decided just to kill some Palestinians, just out of the blue, just because they think the Palestinian number is increasing. Like, I know it sounds like a joke, but it was said in our media. It was said in the Egyptian media and the Arab media, like by reputable analysts, you know. At the beginning of the massacre and the attack by Hamas, I was reading the Arab news. I was reading the Egyptian news and watching the Egyptian news. So I thought, like, as they were saying, it was just a clash between Israeli soldiers and Hamas militants, which happen every now and then. So I thought, okay, just another clash. It's not a big deal. But then later, I was like 2 days later in particular, I was invited by a video conference in Arabic that was organized by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Israel and the Ministry of Defense. And it had journalists from all over the Arab world. More than 300 people were attending, journalists, activists, researchers. And they showed us the actual footage of what happened, like videos collected from the cameras of the houses, from the streets of the kibbutz where the massacre happened, and where the music festival was attacked. And they showed us like the real scenes of this horrific attack. And at that time, I felt like anger, and I was so offended by the many lies that the Egyptian and the Arab media was promoting about the issue, and how they accept, like, to be honest, like, regardless of religious background or nationality or anything, I related to these women who were brutalized and were raped and murdered and mistreated simply because they are Jewish women or because they are Israelis. It's not an excuse. And all these children, even the animals, they killed the animals like dogs and cats. They killed them. They didn't let, they burned houses. They didn't let any sign of life, or like, it was an attack on humanity. This massacre was an attack on humanity, not only on the Jewish or Israeli people. It was an attack on humanity. So I thought I should stand up. And I have a good following on social media, so I thought, okay, the first place I can do that, as long as our media is lying, I will go and say the truth. And I did that. I went and I said the truth, and actually, of course, expectedly, I received a horrible backlash from the many trolls on social media. And I thought, okay, fine, it will take 2 or 3 days and it will go away as usual, because it happened to me many times before. But soon after that, it was picked by the Egyptian media, by the state-sponsored media in Egypt. And by state-sponsored, like, it's really state-sponsored, like the state dictates everything that's being said in these stations. So being attacked by these media stations means the state itself is against me. So at the beginning, I said, okay, perhaps this is not the case. They made a mistake or something, but it became increasing once and again, and it's increased. Like, the attack is increasing to the extent that some members of parliament appeared on these TV stations to call me a traitor, and to call me a threat to Egypt's national security. And see the irony here, like, someone like me who's a liberal thinker is a threat to Egypt's national security, while all the radicals who are cheering for Hamas and cheering for the Muslim Brotherhood and supporting the Salafists are not a threat to Egypt's national security, which is so ironic. So I thought, okay, it will go over, but unfortunately it didn't. Like I started like to have death threats coming to my phone. Radical Salafists going to my mother's house and looking for me and asking like to have my address or my phone number, like to kill me and things like that. And thank God it went well, and my mother was not hurt or anything. But it was really scary. So I contacted people in the authorities in Egypt and I said, guys, I need protection. And their reaction, unfortunately, was like, we're sorry, we cannot protect you. I said, is it because I criticized Hamas? They said, no, not really, but because you said you support Israel in its war on Hamas. So the word support Israel for them was the sin that I committed, it was the big crime that I committed. And thus they wouldn't mind seeing me being killed by some fanatic in the street just because I said I support Israel, which is crazy because Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel that has been in place for years.
I was just going to say that. And it's supposed to be a secular country. So law enforcement is choosing to not help an Egyptian citizen because they disagree with your ideas. You've committed the crime of wrongthink, and
Yeah,
so law enforcement refuses to protect you against death threats.
unfortunately true, yes. And the thing is that in Egypt, yes, we have a peace treaty with Israel. Yes, we have very good relationship with Israel over the past 7 years of economic cooperation, military cooperation, and everything. But unfortunately, when it comes to the deep state in Egypt, they still carry a lot of hatred towards Israel. Some of them still up till today, they still call Israel the historical enemy of Egypt. And up till today, every year we celebrate the anniversary of the war with Israel in 1970. But we don't celebrate the anniversary of the peace treaty, which was amazing. Until today, President al-Sadat, who made the peace treaty with Israel, is being criticized for what he did and being seen as a traitor, although in my opinion he was a hero. So as you can see, like the deep state in Egypt is still a very big problem when it comes to peace with Israel or peace in general. And they are also still a problem when it comes to democratization and human rights, as we all know. So the thing is that yes, so actually after that I was invited to an interview with the INSS, the Institute of National Security Studies, to comment on the issue. I didn't say, like, of course, like my words were taken afterwards to appear like I am encouraging Israel to kill the Palestinians and I hate the Palestinians. Of course not. Of course, I'm completely against the killing of any civilians, regardless of their background. They are all humans, and of course, I sympathize with the Palestinian people who are going through all this suffering right now. But at the same time, we have to like set the truth clear, to be clear about where the truth is, who caused this suffering to both the Israelis and the Palestinians. It's Hamas. Mainly it's Hamas. So this is what I said, and I said like I am 100% supporting Israel in its war on Hamas, and I believe that if Hamas is removed, this will be good. Hamas and the other terrorist organizations, this will be good for the entire region. And I called upon Arab countries, including my country, Egypt, to support Israel in this war for the good of the region. Of course, like my words were like taken in a completely different direction. The video of the interview went viral, and I started like unfortunately some lawyers in Egypt who are also very close to the state used this interview to file legal claims against me, accusing me of high treason and threatening Egypt's national security and they're cooperating with Zionist organizations, like a number of accusations that each one of them could put me in jail for the rest of my life. So so right now I had unfortunately I had to leave with a broken heart. I had to leave my country where I lived my whole life, and right now I'm in a different country, and like not sure about what will happen next in my life, trying to rebuild my life from scratch again. But the only thing I am so determined to keep and to keep using is my voice, because I think this is the main goal of the Islamists from the beginning, like, to silence me and silence the people like me. So this is the one thing that I will not let them get uh, anytime. No, even if it would cost me my whole life, I will keep speaking against them and I will keep fighting against them.